Welcome to an episode of Into the Lab podcast, where sports analysts and experts dissect the latest news from the NBA and NFL, giving you a unique view on some of the hottest topics around your favorite teams. From the fresh field smells of the NFL to the hardwood courts of the NBA, and possibly your comfy couch for your fantasy football team. Let's see what kind of news the lab is working with today. Here's your host from the Sports Analytics headquarters in San Antonio, Texas, Ernest Silva.
You know, it's good to be back. It's good to be back. And Mark, total kudos. Love the video. If you didn't know it, everybody was in town just this past holiday. Just Luke on the show, the co-host for the day. What's up, my man?
What's up? Oh, actually, Ernest, I only go by the ITL Fantasy Football League champion. Luke. I'm sorry.
Got it.
Never give up, kids. Never give up.
Champion is in the house. I'm your host, Ernest Docky Silva. It's been a fun holiday. Been keeping up with the updates. Been a lot of Pokemon ripping. Been a lot of fun from the expo. Appreciate everybody who came out. We had a big turnout. We were busy the entire time. Chris Borak lost his voice. Wifey lost her voice. Everybody was having fun. We announced, I think it was like a little over 1,500 packs, and a big winner to the guy who took a Moonbreon from Austin, Texas. Congrats to you. We loved it so much. We're doing it again. February 22nd, 23rd, we're back to Shrine Auditorium for the San Antonio Collectors Expo. Go check it out. We have nearly 2,500 packs this time. We want to sell out. We're going to have a big hill showing all the different winners. It's very exciting stuff. Catch another Moonbreon, Lugia Aquapolis. And for today's episode, we're going to start off opening a couple packs to explain what we actually do. But before we do that, a little bit of an update. Chris Borak still in the lead. Mark's watching. Glad y'all like it. Yeah, go follow It's Rated Merc on all platforms, or go follow Mark. Terrific videographer for ITL and BCMG as a whole. But we're going to do some ripping right now on the show. So we're going to take one pack. We're going to show you guys how it works. We do a live King of the Hill. And if you're not sure what a King of the Hill actually is, you probably don't really go on TikTok, or you don't go on any of the streams that see it. But you can basically buy packs and have those packs ripped for you. And when you get those packs ripped, online it's usually what's the value of the cards, add your values together. We do a little different at ITL, right? We take your pack, right, sealed. You can bring your own pack, really. You don't have to buy from us. We don't really necessarily need you to come buy from us. But you take your pack, and you come and you will rip it at our booth. Now, if you buy a pack from us, depending on what kind of pack you want to get, right, depends on the price point in this next expo, we have some really good packs, some really nice winners that you could choose from. Or you could buy your pack from somebody else. Maybe you like another company, or you like somebody else, and we come and count out the HP on your cards. So the killers are trainers, right? So trainers don't have any HP whatsoever, right? But on regular cards, you might have an HP there at the top. So this one's a 70, right? And so we add the HP on your cards. So I'm terrible at this because I don't have like a camera over me, right? But first is 70. The next one up is a Swablu at 50, right? That gives you 120 points. Then we have this Swirlix at 60 points. This Rotom at 80, right? So we're clearing 300 at this point. Dreepy at 60. And a Vulpix at 70. We're nearing the 450 mark. And the Ralts Reverse Hollow on a 60 there. And this is live stream. You saw me open the pack, right, Luke? Like you saw me open it. And in this pack is a big hit, is a Lugia Alt Art.
Oh my God.
Card at 220 HP. This was an absolute random pack pulled from the stacks. What a hit there. So we cleared about 800 live here, and so you would get that score. So that score rides with you, and you go onto the scoreboard. And right now nobody's playing, so I'd be in first place. We're absolutely gonna sleeve that, and so you guys saw it live. I'll have that showcase.
Absolutely.
Look at it. Wow. And so you have 800 points. Now, you can max out on some of these packs at about 1,700 points. I mean, these things can get really big. And depending on how well you do, right, you could be riding the entire time at the expo. I think we had somebody leading first place for like 12 hours of the expo time, and then he got overtaken and somebody took over his, and then it was really fast at the end. But come out and enjoy it, right? Mark will clip this and show you guys how to play it. And if you are online, we may have a chance for you to be a part of the games. We're going to have a big raffle wheel going for one of the major cards, one of the major secret rare cards we're going to have up there. So keep a lookout. Join us live. And for the Pokemon fans, Shrine Auditorium, February 22nd, 23rd. We just count the HP. You keep all your hits live, King of the Hill in San Antonio, Texas. Come check it out, guys. Come have some fun with us and chill with the ITL sports scientists. All right. We are not by ourselves tonight. Chris Connor has joined from the Last Call podcast as well. What's up, Chris Connor?
Not much. I'm still watching Notre Dame versus Penn State, and maybe if all goes well, Ernest, maybe the Cowboys can get Abdul Carter. I know Jerry's wheeling and dealing. I know you're like, Jerry, we need defensive end. We can move on to Marcus Lawrence, save some money, pass rusher with Micah Parsons. I know you're already making a call. Go, Jerry, don't screw it up. Abdul Carter, just make it happen.
I just want to see the Longhorns. That's all I'm focused on right now. I'm going to focus on a team that's playing football. And as much as you want to shake your head, they're still top 4 team right now in the country, hoping to pull upset city tomorrow night. But I digress here. Chris Connor, we were talking some NFL playoffs, right? And so let's get right into the action and start off with a banger here. We're going to talk about the Houston Texans wild card game coming up. The Texans kick things off. I think it's a 3:30 game for Saturday. We've been talking Texans football quite a bit on this show. And honestly, I'm kind of appalled by the stat line. Chargers by 3.5 right now, and it's just moving wider. Chris Connor, I'm going to go last here. I'm biased on this, so I'm going to go last here. Chris Connor, what is your take on this game and what happens?
I go Chargers. They're playing better. The stench of just Chargers collapsing is done. You may love them or hate them, but tight pants, the khakis. It is a Jim Harbaugh team. They run the ball well. Herbert's playing well. That pass rush you get right after the Texans, and something's not right. They got to figure out, but in the offseason, the middle of the interior line. I don't know if they go after Trey Smith, if they make a trade, go in a draft to get a center. Something's going to be fixed because they can't protect C.J. Stroud. He's going to be crippled by the time he's into his 4th season with this offensive line.
So you're taking the Chargers to cover or just the Chargers to win?
Chargers to win and cover.
Chargers to win and cover. There is some confidence there coming from Chris Connor. Just Luke, how are you feeling? I'm sorry, Champ.
Yeah, there we go. Man, this is tough. Just because the interior of that line worries me. It does. The offensive line does worry me. And I think I would feel way better if Tank Dell was healthy. But losing Tank Dell now really hampers that offense. Dalton Schultz has been a non-factor relatively all year for them, which that hurts them as well. I think the Chargers do win this game. But I will say this, if Tank Dell was completely healthy, I think Houston runs away with it just because the Chargers can keep it close defensively wise, but they don't have any explosions on offense. That's their problem. But with no explosion on either side of the ball, I'll take the better running game and the better defense right now, and that would be the Chargers. But I don't. 3.5 is kind of. I'd take the money line on it.
For those of you who had followed the ITL Pick'em Champ for this year, that is Chris Boyack currently sitting 8 games ahead. He did lose a game to me over the break in week 16, but he is sitting comfortably at 150 and 38 on the year, which is just absolutely bonkers. I am at 142, so I'm 8 games back. He did choose the Texans, though. The Texans get the nod for him. He said he's feeling the Texans have that, and him being a Texans fan also probably feeds into that. I am also going Houston in this game. I like home teams on wild card rounds, especially when I think both quarterbacks are pretty evenly matched here. I think Herbert has an edge. I think he is better right now because Stroud is still younger and has a lot to prove. And he had a bit of a lower year slump wise with airing the ball. He was missing a lot of 8 to 15-yard outlet passes, and he was really hitting those during last year's run. And so there's some concern there with that. And if you're a Houston Texans fan, you're probably not feeling super, super excited with the offensive line not performing that well, having issues with penalties. Nico Collins is really the guy, right? Can he do his own impression of Justin Jefferson and will this team to a win? His own impression of being Jamar Chase, being that number one. They will need every bit of that. And will the defense be able to come up with some stops and special team step up? I think Fairbairn's and Dicker's battle is going to be fun in this game. I think it's going to be a really entertaining game. Luke, I think before the show you said this is your game to watch for the playoffs. I agree. It's top 2 for me. This is not my game of the week, but I'm excited to watch this game on Saturday. Saturday football is going to be really fun. I am picking Houston to win this game outright. I don't need the points, and that's my prerogative here. So we are split on the sports scientist. Not a game to bet on, apparently. Not the game to bet on for the weekend. But that takes us to our next game, which is they got some emotions going there for Luke. We go right into Baltimore and Pittsburgh. This is the game of the day for some people on this show. Baltimore minus 9.5 at home against Pittsburgh. Is this a revenge game? We're gonna see. I'll start things off. No Zay Flowers, but Baltimore seems to be rolling. Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson were made for this. Run the ball, have a defense that can stop the ball, and cover up the middle. You want to exploit Pittsburgh. Baltimore's got to be the clear favorite in this. 9.5 points is wild to me. I think the play for this game is definitely Pittsburgh plus 9.5. That's what I would be putting my money on. But I do like Baltimore to win this game outright. My money line pick is Baltimore. For Chris Borek, his money line pick is Baltimore. I don't have a huge explanation from him, but I can see why. This is a very strong team, probably the team if the Chiefs weren't rolling and still had Patrick Mahomes to beat. So let's move on to you, Chris Connor. Who do you have in this game?
Baltimore. I love Mike Tomlin. He's one of the best coaches to cover, to watch. It just might be time to blow the whole thing up, and either they trade Tomlin to Jacksonville for some picks, or they figure out okay, how much do we give up for McCarthy or Sam Darnold? Minnesota's going to give up one because this isn't working, and you can't trust right now Russell Wilson. You can't trust Justin Fields. Tomlin must sit there and just go, how am I going to score points? How am I going to even put 10 points on the board?
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I like that you have the strong Baltimore take. I'm not as strong as in playoff games, division rivals. You know each other well. Tomlin's been there for a while. Luke, you're on the opposite side of this. You're the underdog for this game. How are you feeling about the terrible towels?
9.5 is crazy. We talked about that before the show. I don't see where they're getting 9.5, especially after losing Zay Flowers. I don't understand that at all. But let's just be real, gentlemen. Mike Tomlin is 0-4 in his last 4 playoff games. They have not looked good. They're coming in bumbling, stumbling, fumbling their way through to the end of the schedule, which any reasonable Steeler fan would have known that stretch of Philadelphia, Kansas City, Baltimore, Cincinnati, that is a brutal 4 games to end the year. That's tough for any team. So I got to go with my gut and say Baltimore. As much as I hate to say it, it just brims my soul. But 9.5 is crazy. I see this as a 17-10, 17-7 type of game. I don't, unless Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews just have career days, I don't see where 9.5 gets them away. So we'll keep it.
What's your keys to Pittsburgh winning this game?
Now that Zay is gone, obviously it's to find Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews surprisingly isn't a Steeler killer as I would have thought. He's only had one career touchdown against the Steelers, which is insane to me. Now it's defensively, you've just got to focus on King Henry. We know the first 2 quarters, he struggles in the first 2 quarters. We know that. But by the time the third and fourth quarters run around, those 1 yard to 2 yard gains turn into 4 to 5 to 6 to breaking house touchdown kind of gains. So I actually feel confident if you put this game into Justin Tucker's hands that he actually might not make the kick. But the key for Baltimore is if you have Pittsburgh out, you have to put them out now. There's no we can wait to the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left.
Right.
No, you if you have them on the ropes, you need to put your knee into their throat and put them out and be done, because Cincinnati learned about it last week. They could have scored whatever many points on that Steelers defense last week, and they didn't put them out, and it almost cost them. But they ended up winning that game. But the Steelers team is still too wily to just let them hang around. This team is not a hang around type team.
Yep, completely agree. I am definitely excited to watch some good football Saturday. I think these are the 2 games I'm really excited for. My game of the week, though, is the next one. And let's talk about Sunday's first game. ITL's game of the week, Buffalo -8.5 at home against the Denver Broncos, the surging Broncos, and a bit of a streaky Bills team. Going to be an interesting week for sure. Wild card matchup, Buffalo 8.5-point favorites at home. Denver, the visiting team, not really the road warriors you would think, but Luke, you actually are going to get the call to call this one first. How do you see this game playing out for you?
Buffalo runs them. I mean, dices them up. There's no reason this Denver team should be in the playoffs. I mean, there's no reason. In my opinion, they shouldn't be there. Bo Nix's magic runs out this week when they face the buzzsaw, aka the Buffalo Bills at home. No doubt in my mind.
I really like first half spread Buffalo in this game. I'm going to let Chris Conner go last on this game. I think Buffalo does win this game handedly, but I think Denver sneakily goes backdoor cover on this game. I think Denver's going to have the resiliency not to just roll over and get stumped. Like, I think it might be a 27-3 game at one point, and then slowly it's now 31-20, and Denver scores a last-minute touchdown just to make it some sort of game. They miss the onside, and it's 31-27, something like that, and they backdoor cover. I like Denver a lot. I think Denver has tons of potential. That's going to be a team to watch for years. I think they hit in the draft. I think Sean Payton knows what he's doing with this team, and they're bought in, and that's the setting the culture is just half of it. I mean, you know that, right, Luke, from being in Pittsburgh. Yep. You set the culture right, it goes, right? Unfortunately, I have that with McCarthy in Dallas as well. Like, he just has the culture, and so you just roll with that. And so this is going to be an interesting game. If Buffalo starts off behind for any reason, this game gets very interesting because it is tough to throw on the Broncos when you're coming back from behind. They are undefeated when they start off with the lead. They don't blow leads. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Chris Conner.
I think this could be a very ugly game, and I think I'm going Buffalo. Look, I called it. I called it beginning of the year. Broncos playoffs. Sean Payton, Bo Nix, and Chargers. So once in a while, a blind squirrel can get a couple of nuts. But they only have one win in their record against a winning team. And I don't count with Chiefs' second win because that was basically Andy Reid going, all right, everybody wants to play. All right, you can play. Luke, you want to play? You can play quarterback. Hey, go for it. We don't care. I don't see how they stop Josh Allen. I don't see how they can force the Bills to cover somebody else, that's not, that's basically not named Cortland Sutton. They're a couple years away, maybe 1 or 2 years from really being a Super Bowl threat if they hit everything. But for now, I think it's nice. It's a nice bounce back. Bo Nix looks legit, and this is reality. They're going home quickly.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I think it's going to be a really good game. Personally, I think Denver does show some resiliency. I think they do backdoor cover, but we'll have to see. We'll move on to our next game, which is the wild card game of the week. And I think the biggest game Mark is excited for of the week for sure. There seemed to be a lot of love in that video, Mark. Philadelphia Eagles at home against the Green Bay Packers. How healthy is Jalen Hurts is the question on most people's minds. Where is his mind at? How is he feeling? And I'll start this game off. They only go as far as what Jalen Hurts is actually going to do. I think playoff football is a new level. You have to hit a different gear. You can't fall back as a crutch. If Jalen Hurts is 100% good to go, I don't think Philadelphia struggles whatsoever against Green Bay. It's a young team. And they have had their own shortcomings this year. They've had trouble staying consistent on the run. They've had trouble staying in games against bad teams. And I am going to do this. And I'm going to start off with a huge take here. I think Green Bay wins this game. Green Bay is a team built for upset. I like Green Bay even without Christian Watson. I think Jordan Love wills his way in this game. If Hurts is not playing, absolutely the better quarterback is in Green Bay. And if you are a Packers fan, this is the team that's had the most back and forth, the most inside turmoil, but yet they go on this massive win streak. Like, what kind of Philly team is going to show up? And then when does the sideline explode? Like, this is the city of brotherly love knows that their team is very hot in turmoil on the sideline. Green Bay has their culture. I like culture teams. So I'm going to go with that take. I'm going to say Green Bay pulls the upset and start this one off with a banger right there. Green Bay with the upset first. Chris Connor.
I hate this game. I hate it so much because you're not sure if Jordan Love's going to be, playing like, he was in the first half or the second half. He is most bipolar quarterback. You're not sure if Jalen Hurts is actually going to play at all. I have no idea, what this, both teams are bipolar at times. I can't trust Nick Sirianni. I'm going with the Eagles just because I think at worst case scenario, Saquon Barkley can take over the game, keep Jordan Love in the offense, on the sidelines. And I think the Packers defense is just too banged up right now.
I need more Mark takes live on ITL. Like, Mark, keep it coming. If you're not going to get on screen, I need those to keep coming on here. Not that I have anything against your Eagles, but I absolutely think that this is going to be a game. I think it's going to be a really great game. I think it's probably the game of the day. Just Luke, how are you leaning on this game?
We're keeping it in PA. The Eagles fly out of here with this one. It's not even the fact that, like, Jalen's questionable. That defense is balling for Philadelphia. I mean, Cooper DeJean is a great pickup for them. Their back end has played lights out. Their front seven is just as good as anybody in the NFL. If Jalen is even 80% of what he should be, that's well enough to get the ball to Saquon, AJ, and Devontae Smith. I think it's just too much for this. Might be a game where they're going to blink. It'll be 14-0, and then maybe finish at like 28-20, something like that. Like, just some weird number, but like, I wouldn't put Green Bay out of it, but I think Philadelphia is just too much. Everybody
thought Green Bay wouldn't even be in the game against Dallas. They just dominated that game. It's a different team. Green Bay's just built different. We'll see. It's gonna be a really fun game. Good luck to you, Mark. I hope your team wins. Honestly, I don't have any preference. I root for y'all's team. So I'm going for Pittsburgh. I'm going for Philly. I'm going for Houston. I want y'all's teams to advance. So good luck to you guys. The smart money on this game is probably Philly. Borak has Philly and Buffalo. If I didn't say that in the last one, we have 2 BCMG guarantees going on. We'll ring it at the end because we're going quick, and we're going to our final game on Sunday. Sunday Night Football is there. Where are we going to be? right. Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Washington Commanders. Tampa Bay 3-point favorites at home in this game. Dan Quinn probably couldn't ask for a better matchup. I think he likes to play Tampa Bay. He's done very well against Tampa Bay as a DC. We'll see what he does as a head coach. Let's go around the room. Chris Connor, how do you see this game playing out?
I got Washington, and not only do I have Washington, to win this game, I'm getting bold here.
Ooh.
Washington is going to the Super Bowl this year. Call me crazy.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I'm buying in on Jaden Daniels. He every time we keep writing him off, he has more comeback wins. His team doesn't make sense. It's never made sense, but it makes sense. This is a team. This is every year there's that team. It's like, okay, how the hell they get in the playoffs? How the hell they get this far? This is a team this year. It's the Washington Commanders.
Commanders with the first pick on here. Borak also choosing the Commanders. 2 upset picks for this game on Sunday Night Football. Luke.
Well, shit. I thought I was gonna be by myself. This was my upset pick. Tampa Bay just fucks around way too much. Like, I get it. Everybody's like, man, Baker in the clutch. You shouldn't be in the clutch, though. Like, you should not be in the clutch. That defense is good enough to get you to 10 to 12-point lead in the NFL. Like, we should not be giving Baker this credit for being in the clutch. You shouldn't.
Who throws a shoe? Honestly.
Right. Right. It's true. Like, they are going to fuck around or play it. Go ahead. Yes. Go ahead.
Oh, you're right. You want me to get over you on this one? Okay, I got you.
As you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out.
And they're going to fuck around and find out with the wrong team. The wrong team.
Mark is saying the Buck is the only team he actually fears as an Eagles fan, saying Baker Mayfield has too much aura. So, Mark, I thought that's a good segue from Luke because I am absolutely choosing the Bucks to win this game. I like the Bucks at home. Give me Baker Redemption. I like the Baker Redemption tour. I'm buying the album, and I'm all sold on Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay at home, tough place to play. Top 3 tough place to play in the playoffs. I'm gonna take it. You can take that as a hot take if you want. I think it's a really tough place even up there next to Kansas City. Fans are nuts. If Raiders were good, the Raiders fans would be up to their nuts. There's tough places to play, and that's the one place you don't want to play is Tampa Bay. I think Dan Quinn likes this matchup. I think Washington fans are excited. I think a lot of people who make bets are excited for this game. This is going to be parlayed in a lot of things. And what happens when everybody parlays games like this? Vegas wins.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Bucks. I will foresee all of us being wrong early on and taking the Bucks to win this game and probably cover the spread. It might be weird. It might be like a 27-10 game or something. We're all wrong on the Commanders. But just a weird feeling on the game. No logic to it whatsoever, and I have to catch Borak in the standings. Our final game here for the week is the Los Angeles Rams against the Minnesota Vikings. That is our Monday Night Football headliner. Rams at home versus Minnesota, 2.5-point spread. They're playing this game in Arizona due to the fires happening, so we won't have this game playing technically at home, but it will be a packed Rams house. They will not do them dirty. But Vikings 14-3 playing a road playoff game. Luke, you were talking about that before we started this show. That's kind of wild that's happening. You could start off with this game, and we'll go to you, Chris, and I'll end things off.
All I know is if I'm the Rams, I don't want to be playing in a divisional opponent's home place. That's bad juju. That's bad juju. Give me the Vikings.
But kudos to Arizona doing it, right?
Oh, yeah. Hats off to them.
When a hurricane hit Houston, I don't know if you guys know this story, but the Texas Rangers would not let Houston play in Arlington. Like, they shut the door. We had to go play in Tampa for 3 home games because they wouldn't let us go play at their stadium. Wow. That's why we don't like the Rangers. Just so everybody knows that. This is an anti-Ranger show. You can't do it for humanity then. What the fuck are you doing? So, my own take. But anyways,
Notre Dame just won, by the way. Notre Dame just won.
Wild.
27-24.
Wild.
Choke job.
Is anybody else shocked by that?
Choke job. Honestly, the way Notre Dame came out, I didn't think they had a pulse. So, it's a good thing.
I remember when Notre Dame beat A&M. I just laughed at them because I was like, man, Notre Dame sucks. But now they're in the national championship.
Now
At this
championship,
point,
yeah.
I gotta eat crow. Yeah, Chris Connor, how do you see? Oh, actually, Luke, who are you picking?
I am taking the Vikes.
Okay.
Taking the Vikes. Bad juju. And then the sad thing is, they win, and everything else falls the way it should. They've got to go to Detroit again because they'll be the lowest seed at 14-3.
Just wild. That's
So
crazy.
Not necessarily, no, because if the Commanders win, they're the lowest seed.
Well,
true. Or
I'm
the
just saying if it
Packers.
would,
Yeah.
if it would fall that way, you know what I mean? If the favorites actually win, Minnesota would have to go to Detroit.
So you could call it 2 Minnesota picks. Borat goes Minnesota, stays with the favorite there.
That's
Too much
probably-
talent on that side of the ball. Chris Connor.
Minnesota. Look, my heart breaks for the Rams because as we're joking this year, and I know people, colleagues in boxing, MMA, and my other guests who I've talked to, is like, yeah, we've lost our home. It's burned down. And you feel for it because the Rams players and coaches, some of them are like, are we going to have a home by the time this game plays? Or, is there going to be are we going to have people still alive? So I don't wish this on anybody. I think it's going to be too much of a strain, and I think the Vikings are just talented enough to just take it to them right now.
Yeah, I do think the talent is on the Minnesota side of the ball. One big thing that was taught to me early on in my betting career was that tragedy equals wins in sports.
You're right.
And when the tragedy happens, that is the team to lay your money on because they just play with so much more passion and so many people are pulling for them. And I'm going to follow that same logic with this game. I'm taking the Rams in this game because tragedy wins. And the Rams are a good football team. Like, this is not like I'm picking the 7 seed like I did with the Packers. Like, this is a good football team who earned their division this year, who beat some really good teams in their division to win it, who had to battle injuries, who fought through those injuries and are very healthy right now. So I am going to take the talented wide receiver core. It's going to be a wide receiver core battle. It's going to be interesting how Sam Darnold does what he does in the playoffs. It's going to be really interesting to see. The Minnesota Texans, basically, right, with that defense. Chris Connor and I talked about that in the offseason and through the year about how the Minnesota's defense has looked very much through Grenard, like Houston Texans defense. I am very intrigued by this game. It's going to be, I mean, there's no other game to watch, right? It's Monday Night Football. You get to enjoy some primetime football. Most of us are going to be iced over anyways. So watch some football, enjoy it. But I'm going to take the Rams to pull, actually just win this game, right? They're going to pull the upset, but they're the higher seed. So the Rams to win it. And we'll see what happens in the next round. But guys, that's our episode tonight. We had a late start. We're coming back, right? 2 weeks plus.
Well, wait a minute. We didn't talk the important game, Ernest. And I'm throwing it out there because I know you're dying to talk. You're just dying here. It's Texas. Ohio State. And I know you're already like, okay, one more win. National championship. We're going to beat those dirty Irishmen. I will snap a leprechaun if I can. So who's winning, Ernest? Is it Ohio State or is it going to be Texas?
Actually, we should go last because the fans know who we're picking. I mean, the guy's wearing an Ohio State sweatshirt.
No, but try to sell. I want you to go first, Ernest, then you sell it to us. Sell us degenerates why we should take each of your teams.
I'm going to let my team do the talking tomorrow, but Quinn Ewers wins close games that he makes close because he obviously has a turnover problem and an anxiety issue. So there's that. But number 2, our defense is elite. We have a phenomenal defense. It'll be the toughest defense, in my opinion, Ohio State will face this year. And we'll have to see how they answer that. Texas is a very good football team. They let their foot off the gas against Arizona State, but Arizona State played with some passion. They had probably one of the best college players in football play against them. They show why in Bo. And you're going to have a Texas team that's underdogs. And when Texas are underdogs, they play so much better than when they're the favorites. And so there's not going to be expectation. There's going to be a lot of chippiness for Texas being the underdogs in this game. And I think Texas spread is probably the safest bet of the weekend. I actually think Texas plays this game very close, probably leads for most of the game. Ohio State will have to play a damn good game to beat them, and they'll have to play 4 full quarters. And no team this year, aside from Georgia, has been able to hold Texas's offense. So we'll have to see what Ohio State does to mimic that and cause chaos. But I'm taking nothing away from Ohio State. They are probably the better team playing right now. They have the momentum. Texas, though, on paper, is going to be their toughest opponent. I'd like to see what they do against a real football team. So Texas is my pick. That's not obvious.
I mean, there's no arguing these are the two best teams left.
I agree. I agree.
The big 2 points for me is, it sounds cliche as it is, it's obviously in the trenches. The front seven of Texas is for real. The offensive line for Ohio State has been shuffled so many times this year, more than a deck. They think they've found the combination this time. And the first 2 games of the playoff has been fantastic for the squad. So I don't like that we're now favored. I'd liked that we have been skating through pretty much under the radar for the most part. The biggest thing is the trench work this week on both sides of the ball. If they have any chance of beating Texas, they have to get the run game going between Travion and Quinshon Junkins. It's got to be a 1-2 punch. And the other thing is Jim Knowles, the defensive coordinator for Ohio State, is he going to bring pressure when he needs to, or is he going to sit back and let Quinn Ewers sit in the pocket? That has been a huge bugaboo with Jim Knowles' types of defenses, is that he does not come after the quarterback when he should, and he does when he shouldn't. So it's going to be a great mind game between him and Sark. I'll be glued to the couch. I think it's like a 27-24 game, maybe 30-27. But I have Ohio State in the end. Jeremiah Smith is the number 1 wide receiver in the nation. There's no doubt in my mind.
I better not get one phone call this entire game. My entire address book better be watching this damn game. It's gonna be.
It's on Do Not Disturb for 2.5 hours.
Yes. Yeah, you won't find me anywhere.
Yeah.
Chris Connor, break this tie and tell me what you got.
2 of the most maligned college football personalities. It's how will Quinn Ewers screw this up versus how is Ryan Day going to keep saving his job? They almost ran him out of town a couple weeks ago in Ohio State. They're ready to fire him, string him up, beat him with a club. Just get out of here now. He's one more way away from a national championship. Look, I give Texas credit. Between Ohio State's Jeremiah Smith and Emeka Egbuka, who he will be a first-round pick in the NFL draft. So you're just looking there going, holy crap, who are they going to stop this? Was Quinn Ewers going to crap his pants in the first quarter and second quarter? Ernest, I know, because I would love to have you, win, Texas win so you can go and basically get revenge against Notre Dame and slap a leprechaun. I know you want to do that since 2016, but I'm sorry. I got to go with the Ohio State Buckeyes.
I'll get my chance.
I'll get my chance.
I will say, I don't even need Borak's pick. He's so anti-Quinn Ewers in the Texas Longhorns that I know so I'll just leave that as his pick.
Yeah.
Guys, Friday football in Texas is sacred, and the fact that they're having Texas play on Friday, to me, there's hints in the universe, my guys. There's hints in the universe. Like, this is just, it's Friday Night Lights. Like, this is that if Sark is not even using that as the hype, like, that's the wrong way to do this. Like, he absolutely is saying it's Friday night, boys. This is what you've been doing since you were kids. Like, you're going out there playing football. So I'm really excited, and everybody everywhere should be watching this game. It's probably gonna be one of the most watched games in college football. I would even say probably history. If this game is even tight, this is gonna be one of the best games that's ever been watched. So kudos to everybody. Great week of football, and it's a great week of sports. I'm really excited. Rockets get the win tonight, stay the 2 seed in the West. We have a lot incoming for ITL. Expo, February 22nd, 23rd. We're going to open a pack every week. We're live. for ITL and leading up to the Expo. Expo will be the close of our ITL season for the NFL. We're very excited to see you guys again in person. Thank you, Chris Connor. Thank you, Just Luke. I'll let you guys say bye to everybody, but thank you guys. We have 2 games guaranteed. Baltimore, Buffalo money lines. We're not going to put spreads out there. Go put your money on there. Mix in some UT if you feel confident. Go put some of those upset picks if you like them. Whoever you follow on the Sports Scientist. We got to catch Borak. I have 4 opposite picks of Borak this week. So hopefully we play some catch up and make it interesting. Just Luke, talk to the people.
Yeah, it's good to be back this week. Hope everybody had a fun, safe holiday. Ernest, always appreciate the time. You can follow me at King of Hearts 82. But yeah, I am excited for some great playoff football. I mean, it's just going to be a fantastic weekend. We got college football plus the NFL. Like it's. Oh, I'm just so ready. I'm ready to go.
I got to give another shout out to Mark. I know I don't really like lead off with him. So just shout out Mark for the videos and everything. I got your last 3 videos just right this second. So we'll have those transitions and we'll make sure we get those a day early next time. We appreciate you, my guy. Thank you so much. Chris Connor, tell the people where they can find you.
Check me out at thelastcallpodcast.com. Also on YouTube, the Last Call Podcast YouTube channel. I'm on X, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Last Call Chris C. Check us out. We just did an interview with NWA wrestler Brian Idol, who'll be actually wrestling in Texas. You can go on his website, brianidol.com. He'll tell you where and when for the NWA. And we'll have Price Carter on this weekend talking Kansas City Chiefs and their playoff outlook. And gentlemen, it's always a pleasure being on the show, and thank you guys for having me.
Thank you so much. Just because we're going to do it, any banger or any hit we get on these Pokemon cards leading to the Expo are going to be on the hill. So you'll see this guy on the King of the Hill.
I mean, insane.
We ripped it live. It's going to be there. Congratulations, whoever gets that. Very exciting stuff. It actually looks really good. So awesome. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys in February. Come catch us next week to see what the next card will be on the hill to start things off. Have a great night. Good luck to your teams this week. Peace.